Hello everyone, and welcome to my review for Kengan Omega Chapter 107. Before I get into this week's review, I of course have to mention my subscriber goal for 2021, hitting 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you're already a fan of my videos and you're not subscribed, you might as well to help me reach that milestone. The other thing is my Patreon, if you want to help support me and the channel directly, or you want to get access to some solo leveling and omniscient reader content, you can always become a patron. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. With that out of the way, let's get on with the review. We're now on to the third chapter, finding out more about Nicholas's backstory. Well, not Nicholas, Jean's. This is still really weird calling him Jean now. But this week, we finally found out when he replaced the real Nicholas, what happened with that whole massacre thing, and a little bit of insight into his personality. So this special ops division that he and Nicholas were in didn't even have a name. Nobody knew about it. If you were a member of it and you died, no one would find out. It was like you didn't exist, you were ghosts. And Nicholas was pretty much the coolest guy in the special ops unit, to the point where Jean kind of admired or worshipped him. He was sort of like an idol of admiration for Jean, to the point where he started viewing Nicholas as basically the main character of a story. Like, you know how some people think they're the main character of real life? Well, instead of being self-centered like that initially, Jean viewed Nicholas as that person, as the main character for the real world. But at some point, Nicholas snapped and decided to just kill everyone in the unit. And a bunch of civilians as well. The guy was basically a psychotic murderer, like we initially thought Jean was. And the two of them fought each other to the death, and eventually Nicholas Lebanner was killed, and Jean-Luc was the last man standing. But he couldn't really deal with the idea that his protagonist, that his idol of worship, was dead. Like, it wasn't a possibility in his mind. It wasn't possible for that to happen. So instead he was like, oh, I see. I'm Nicholas Lebanner, and I killed Jean-Luc. I'm really the main character. So, yeah. Jean is crazy, but in a different way than what we'd expected. And in, frankly, a very unique way. At least in comparison to Kengan. I don't think I've really seen any other characters quite like this in general, where can't handle the death of a person that he admired, so he's like, whatever, they're not dead because, I'm alive. They're me, actually. I'm them. I'm the main character. So, yeah, that's a little, goddamn. I kind of feel bad for him. The dude really, well, the fact that he started worshipping Nicholas as like a protagonist in a real-world story is a little concerning. So there was definitely something wrong with Jean from the start. There was something not right up there. But after, his whole unit got killed and he had to fight his idol of worship to the death, the guy has fucking lost it. He's a little crazy. But he's not, seemingly is not like a super psycho murderer like we thought he was, or like the real Nicholas is, or I guess was, because he's dead. So anyway, we go back to the fight, and Nicholas is still kicking Okoye's ass. Listen, we're gonna need some explanation for this shit, because I don't understand how Nicholas was supposedly one of the weakest members of Purgatory when he has been effortlessly beating the shit out of Okoye. Like, it hasn't been completely one-sided. Okoye has done some fighting back. He's gotten in hits on Nicholas. But for the most part, Nicholas has been totally dominating this fight. And this is seemingly not even peak condition Nicholas. Because, like, when has he been forced into a corner so far? There hasn't been, like, a big dramatic moment where it's like, this is where Nicholas gets serious. The guy is fucking really strong. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know how we can explain that away. I've seen a lot of people suggesting that, oh, Nicholas's terrible record is because he kills people when he's fighting. Or at least that's one of the explanations that I've seen. And that does not make any sense. because they didn't say, oh, Nicholas is too violent and too strong for Purgatory. He kills people all the time when he fights. They said Nicholas is one of the weaker members of the A rank. He's one of the weakest. Those two are completely different things. So if Nicholas's record was so bad because of killing, they would have been like, Lolong, are you sure about sending Nicholas out there? He's kind of a loose cannon. That's what they would have said. I don't know. Maybe he's lazy, but we haven't seen anything to indicate that thus far, because Okoye didn't really do anything super impressive to incite him. He was like this from the start of the match. So, I don't know. I have seen some people saying that Nicholas may not have done so well because there are a lot of other members of A rank who are more so, dodging specialists. They're not defensive specialists like Okoye, where he takes hits, and, taking hits from Nicholas is the best way to lose when fighting him. Instead, a lot of them are much more capable of dodging or just, not getting hit by his attacks. Or they're just big enough where, Nicholas gets him a few times and, their arm goes limp, but, there's just so much of them there that is not going to help out very much. But for the most part, this guy is way fucking stronger than he's been given credit for. And we haven't even seen peak condition. Speaking of, at the end of this chapter, Nicholas looks like he's going to go in for a very dramatic finisher. He's got, both arms out, gonna, hit Okoye in the spine or something. And then Okoye fucking bites him in the shoulder. And, by God, are there anime quantities of blood gushing out of Nicholas right now. And also, Okoye's, digging into his back with his fingers. I don't know how many of you recall, but Okoye also has, ridiculous grip strength. He's got, a great value Razor's Edge. It's fucking vicious. If you remember the way he was tearing into Cosmo's arms when he snapped during their fight, that may almost be even worse than the neck bite. I don't know if there's I think there's a fucking artery around here or something. So that could be really devastating. And the dude is fucking losing it. His eyes are bulging out of his skull. He's fucking snapped. So this is the moment that most of us have been waiting for, which is when Okoye goes into preposterous mode, when he fucking snaps, and he's like, I am going to murder the shit out of you. And that's basically what he says. It's all evil must perish, I will execute justice. So, it's turning into a deathmatch now. Like I've been saying it would, like a lot of other people have been saying it would. So, next chapter, I think, is going to be Okoye being extremely violent. And probably by the end is when Jean is going to go into, the peak condition that we've been waiting for. Because then he's going to actually be forced into a corner, because in Purgatory you don't fight people like Okoye. Or, you don't fight people like Murder Mode Okoye. So that is going to be when Nicholas is like, alright, I'm gonna go all out. And considering the extremely violent, traumatic experiences Nicholas has had, I have a feeling that he's also going to get super violent as well, and if there's anything that the blood gushing from the end of this chapter has told me, it's that everyone in the front rows of the stadium are going to be in the splash zone. This is going to be a mess. There's going to be blood and gore everywhere. I don't think this fight is going to have a clean end. It's going to be kind of probably a more drawn-out version of the end of the last fight, where Masaki was just pummeling Jirota's face. It's going to be like that, where they're just tearing each other apart until one of them dies. They're probably going to have to drag one of them off the other. I think Nicholas is going to kill Okoye by the end of this, and someone, probably Lolong, is going to have to, grab Nicholas and pull him off of Okoye's dead body and be like, it's over. Stop it. It's done. It's done. You don't... Calm the fuck down. It's going to be something like that. Something very violent and dramatic. So... yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if we're getting a chapter next week, because Golden Week starts tomorrow, which means, next Wednesday would be during Golden Week, but I've heard that Kengan has released chapters during Golden Week before, so I have no idea what's going to happen. We're going to have to wait and find out. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So, If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Kengan Omega chapter reviews every week. If you enjoy other series such as Record of Ragnarok, Jujutsu Kaisen, Black Clover, and Kaiju number 8, I do videos on those series as well, so if you're interested in those, you should definitely check out my channel. If you enjoyed discussing Kengan Omega with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce on this channel, I highly suggest check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. Since it's the end of the video, it's time to give a shout out to my wonderful patrons: Archbear CJ2K, Fuse, Neo, Solo Warrior, Tyree Simmons, Dijon Redden, Honey Mustard, Zach Rowitz, K-God, Holly Walker, Angel Does It, Chris Redfield, Brendan Lee, and Scratch23. Thank you all very much for supporting me on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it. And if you too want to get a shout out at the end of videos or access to Solo Leveling and Omniscient Reader reviews, you can always become a patron as well. I have a link to my Patreon down in the description. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you around. Take care.